Hello, my name is Danny Goad, and I want to share some information with you that regarding the inappropriate or pornographic materials that are in the Botetourt County libraries that are directed at children. I want to tell you what we have tried to do to get these materials removed from the libraries so that you'll understand the very heinous nature of what is going on in Botetourt County right now, and also so that you can protect your children from exposure to these awful materials. In December of 2022, I became aware that there were pornographic materials in the Botetourt County libraries. In January, a lady from Botetourt County presented to the Board of Supervisors the concerns that she had about these pornographic materials in the libraries, and she was very clear in what these materials contained. She provided a lot of documentation, and there was no misunderstanding as to what the materials in question were. After that meeting, we didn't hear anything from the Board of Supervisors. In the March meeting, several of us, there were 5 who presented and raised this concern with the Board of Supervisors once again, and there were 2 people who indicated they might be willing to help get rid of these materials or to help with the issue. Those 2 people were Billy Martin and Scott Horn. Now, Billy Martin and Scott Horn met with 2 people, and it was hoped that something good would come out of this meeting. But what resulted was stonewalling and obfuscation. The only thing that I can tell that came out of this meeting was that the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Scott Horn, scheduled an attorney to come to the June meeting to present to the Board of Supervisors. In the May meeting, there were 12 people who presented before the Board of Supervisors, and they talked about how detrimental these materials were to children. How that if a child opened the book, as they do when they look through the library materials, choosing what book they're going to get, as soon as they lay it open, they're going to see these images, these terrible images that will be in their mind for the rest of their life and scar them. They will see these materials so quickly, they'll see them at the same time their parents do, if their parents are standing over their shoulder and looking at it at the same time they are. And so we have to work to protect these children. So far, the Board of Supervisors has been unwilling to acknowledge that there's a problem. They deny that pornographic materials are in the county libraries. I'm not going to present any of the pictures that are in those books today. Examples of these materials are available on Facebook on a group page called Botetourt Conservatives and Independent Thinkers. The pictures and images that are on that Facebook page have been altered because when someone did try to put an unaltered picture on there, they were banned from Facebook. So be very careful. If you do look at these images, make sure there are no children around, and just so that you can get a little bit of an idea of how horrible these pictures are that Botetourt County children are being exposed to in the libraries. This is a terrible thing for our children, and yet it's being denied by our Board of Supervisors. Being denied by the Board of Supervisors who pay for the purchase of these books and they also pay for the distribution of these books. Mr. Skyhorn said in the Roanoke Times recently that we were crazy. Look at these materials and determine for yourself. One of the Board of Supervisor members who looked at the materials, when asked by a resident of Botetourt County, "Would you give this to your grandson?" And he said, "Of course not." The chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Botetourt County Library, she was handed one of these books and asked, "Have you seen this book?" She shoved the book back at the parent, at the resident, and said, "I've already seen it." See, nobody wants to face up to what's in these books. But they're in Botetourt County, and the Board of Supervisors is responsible. In fact, taxpayers in Botetourt County, if you refuse to pay for these books, for their purchase and for their distribution, Botetourt County will come and take your house, your land, and your property. They will take your car if you don't pay the taxes to pay for these. You see, they purchase these books and distribute these books at the point of a gun. And you will lose your property if you don't pay for them. And you too are accountable here. But I caution all parents and grandparents, please be careful about what your children look at, what your grandchildren look at. A couple weeks ago, I went out to the Blue Ridge Library and I distributed a letter to about 45 parents. And that letter was a warning letter to the parents to be very careful about what their children see in the library. It's scary that you can take your child to the library and then they see these heinous materials that will scar them for life. And the parents that I gave them to overwhelmingly were appreciative of me telling them about it. Shortly after that, I went down to the Laymantown Road area in front of, or out beside Food Lion, and I displayed a sign. I held a sign which said, Billy Martin allows porn for children in libraries. Similarly, I held a sign on Reed Mountain Road that says, Skyhorn allows porn for children in libraries. And I said this for two reasons. One, it is true. And two, I want you to protect your children. So far, there's been denial after denial after denial. But it can't be denied. If you look at these materials, you will know. You don't need a Philadelphia lawyer to tell you that this is pornography. And I urge you, on June the 20th, if you live in the Blue Ridge and Valley districts, I encourage you to go out and vote these people out of office who would have these corrupting materials in the library and distribute it to children. Please protect the children that are in Botetourt County. I ask you to please share this video with your friends and family. Please share it with people you go to church with. It's very important that we reach all the parents so they can protect their children. My name is Danny Goad, and thank you for listening.